Good day. Welcome to another exciting edition of my book reviews. Today I'm reviewing The Scarlet Pimpernel, a great classic. It shows up on several of our great books lists, particularly St. Jerome Academy. They read this book somewhere in the junior high level, I think 7th or 8th grade. I taught this book to 7th and 8th graders in Albuquerque, and it's a great book. It's very exciting. It's a lot of fun. It's kind of like, almost like your original superhero secret identity book. So similar to Zorro, where there's somebody in the community is dressing up in a costume and fighting for justice, and we don't know who it is. If you ever see the movie or you see the play, you know who it is in the beginning. But the book actually does a pretty good job of kind of keeping it kind of secretive. So you're actually not sure who the Scarlet Pimpernel is. And right off the bat, I'll let you know the reading level is about 7th or 8th grade level. It's a little more highfalutin than the average 5th grade book than, say, maybe, to compare it to, say, Beverly Cleary. So there's going to be some multisyllabic words, which means words with multiple syllables, but not too hard. I don't think I had any problems with any of my 7th and 8th graders understanding it, even the lower level ones, especially once they got the hang of the story and figured out where it was going and they got into the story. So the premise of the story is it takes place at the time of the French Revolution, right during the Reign of Terror, when everybody's getting guillotined and everybody's being accused, and it's, if you know your story of the French Revolution, there was no such thing really as a fair trial. Pretty much, if you were accused of being an enemy of the state, within a day or two of your, you might, well, not within a day or two of being, within a day or two, sorry, I'm turning on my battery saver. You'd have a trial, and then maybe the next day you're just sent to the guillotine, your head is chopped off. And so the Scarlet Pimpernel is this man who sneaks into France back and forth and helps people escape, people who are condemned to death, whole families. And he always takes on disguises, and there's, so it goes back and forth, almost like A Tale of Two Cities, where it takes place in England and it takes place in France and it takes place, and you go back and forth. And although it's much more fun than A Tale of Two Cities. That's not a knock on Tale of Two Cities. That's a great book, but it's definitely a different tone. So obviously, because we have a masked man sneaking back and forth and, doing daring deeds. I won't tell you much more about the plot. I will say it's a good, enjoyable book. There's some sword fighting. There's intrigue. There's spies. And so it's a great book. It's got some good history in it, and does, kind of has some very two-dimensional characterizations of the fun-loving, open English and the super serious, deadly, paranoid French. So it's written from a very pro-English perspective, even though it's written about 100 years after the French Revolution. So I do recommend The Scarlet Pimpernel. It's a fun book. I remember actually talking to the history teacher at my old school, Mr. Klondike. And Klondike, was that his name? I forgot his name. Whatever his name was. Klondike. It's going to come to me right after I turn off this video. And he saw that we were reading this book, and he just gushed and talked about how when he was a little boy, he read it over and over and over again. He loved it. So Scarlet Pimpernel, if you have the right reading level, as far as moral things, it's a very moral book. It's written from 100 years ago. Lots of great promotion of virtues like courage and loyalty and self-sacrifice, because like any of the superheroes, the Scarlet Pimpernel, he's constantly risking his life for and it doesn't benefit him at all. He just feels that this is the right thing to do. So recommend it. Hope you enjoy it. Scarlet Pimpernel, great read.